Hey everybody, this is my second video of the day, and after I think August, when August starts, I gotta start getting ready for school, so no more videos. So hopefully you find this interesting, and maybe I guess I'll still record stuff when Mike and I are gaming. So if anybody's interested in that story, you can watch that. But for right now, it's my last one thinking about white box concepts. All right. Start off with the link to this is going to be in the description. You just click on it, and I'm going to go to something called the OSR guide. And I'm going to show you, this is kind of a cool thing I've been compiling. I found some of it from somewhere else, but it's kind of interesting. So my OSR stuff here, my books are here. And then of course, this is password protected because you have to kind of buy them. But this is, first I'll show you this little thing, OSR roll up and down. Now, this is kind of easy. So WhiteBox, White Star, Source and Wizardry, they all do the same thing. So the cool thing is anybody walks in, actually Eldritch Tales too as well. Actually, that's a little different, but the whole mechanics is D20, D6. Kind of cool. So you want to roll high for certain things, right? And roll low for certain things. And I kind of throw this up on the screen when I'm DMing at home so people know what's going on. And it makes it a little easier for let's say, play, because I should cut them out and then put them on note cards and place them around the table, so people know, what do I roll a little higher or roll lower? Sometimes that's confusing. You can make it all roll higher, but this is the kind of way I'm doing it because it's kind of the way I want to do it. All right. The other thing I want to show you is this thing that I just did another video on, D6 adding dice. So if I click this thing, it's in a different video. So if you want, look at the end of this video, you can click a link to go to it. So if you're interested in seeing this, I go into detail on that. Okay. So you might find that fascinating. And then the last one is this one. And this is where I'm going to focus. It says OSR guide. Okay. So looking at the way this is put together, okay, this is a really simple way for making characters. You can do this with, it's like all in one web page. My son and I were playing, and he was like, oh God, I said, well, I got an easy thing of doing this. And I kind of wrote it out, right? So you can augment this, change it, do whatever you want. I mean, you can basically download the web page, change it, make it the way you want, essentially. But you roll 3d6, total them, and write them down in any order. Any score above 15 gives you +1 that ability. And what is your race? Human, dwarf, elf. And they have limits on this. So a dwarf can be high as 6th level. Elf is either fighter or 4th. Magic user 8th. And halfling can be a fighter or 4th. However, they get the bonus of levels increase with d6. Now, I know that a dwarf has dark vision, but we're playing white box. This is what you get, right? So your choice, it can be a fighter, magic user, or cleric, right? You start with full hit points at first level, and you come up with a character name. So this is really easy when you're playing with kids. I played with a group of kids the other day, and we just use this as our guide. And then we roll for gold, 3d6. How much gold you got, right? And then you could spend 25 gold pieces, and you have the basic kit to go around. It's the adventurer's kit, right? So most people, I nickel and dime the whole thing. You could just say basic, and then just write down the products, take 25 gold pieces off their list. Very easy, okay? Next thing is armor. So they got to pick the armor, okay? So in this case, it's leather. You get a +2. I'm using ascending armor class. I could use descending too, but it does the same thing. This is a little easier when you're playing with people. Chainmail and plate. Look at this thing. It says stealth penalty. That matters. It's explained in the other video, but I'll just show you briefly at the end what that looks like. But it just tells you there's some penalties if you're trying to do something and not be heard because you're wearing chain that's going to jangle or plates on you, okay? And you can pay for these things too. A shield, which adds to your armor class, that still has a stealth penalty. You could be below on that. Or a helmet. And I do a helmet. If they get hit with a crit, they can discard their helmet, and then they're okay. It's kind of easy, especially when you're playing first level, kind of do away with the helmet, and then that's what it's for, right? So why would you ever get a helmet? No one would ever buy one, but if you get one, it stops you from actually getting bashed in the head once, I guess, right? Now here it is. You have 3 different types of weapon use, either sword and board, dual wielding, or two-handed, okay? So this is going for the fighters, right? Or actually even for the cleric, I guess, more or less. One of them is clerics can have a mace and a board, right? So it's a way of playing it, right? If you select sword and board and you don't buy a shield, you're just fighting one-handed. Something to keep in mind. So these are the 1d6 -1 weapons used with sword and board: a dagger, a short sword, a short bow, right? And a light crossbow, okay? For the weapons for sword and board, right? Okay, you can have a staff, but it has to be two-handed, right? So it's only doing 1d6 SY in this category: club, hand axe, mace, sword, flail, morning star. They do a sling, a longbow, and it's shooting 2 times round, or heavy crossbow at 1/2 per round. All right, so it's another thing. Now, the bigger weapons, the two-handed weapons, are the battle axe, the spear, the polearm, halberd, and the two-handed sword, right? Now, I also play the spear. You can set against charge. You can charge with it, which is going to do additional damage. You don't have to do that. I don't really have it listed, but I do change that in my game. So you can also go dual wielding. If you go dual wielding, you can actually pick 2 sword and board weapons, and you get an additional 1 to your attack. If you use two-handed weapon, you get 1 to the damage. So that's a big, people decide how they want to design their character. For missile weapons, you can buy obviously the arrows, the bullets, and you can get silver arrows and silver bullets, right, for using with your sling. So I put this out here so they can load up their stuff depending on what they want. Now it's cool that Swords of Wizardry WhiteBox. This actually works also for Swords of Wizardry Complete. The prices are comparable, and actually works also with basic D&D. We were looking this up. They're really cross-compatible, so you can use this for just about anything, let you know, right? And then you can get additional equipment packs, and you can roll for them. It depends on what you want to do, right? And it talks about the other things you can get. Like you could sit there and roll, somebody gets this, and then you guys split it up or something like that. But they can buy these things. I don't have the total price written on the outside of these things. I guess, oh no, it's right here. Total prices are here. So this is something they can do, right? Obviously, ink quill, 10 pieces of parchment, and this is stuff they can add. Now, like imagine you use your spell books like 100 gold pieces, but they didn't say ink and quill on there, but you might need it, right? So I don't know. It's something to think about, okay? You have a wilderness pack, and then you have a basic mount now in case they want a horse and saddle and stuff. So to talk about dual wielding, I just mentioned it, but it gives you a +1 to your attack roll. On a hit, you deal damage per the most effective weapon. You can't dual wield two-handed weapons unless you have more than 2 hands, and nobody does, right? So helmet saves you from 1 critical hit, roll of 20 on a d20. Critical hits are maximum damage. If helmet is discarded for the critical hit, damage will be rolled normally. I do not do double damage on a crit. It's just too big. It doesn't make sense, okay? So shields give you +1 to your armor class when they are readied, okay? And surprise characters do not benefit from their shields, just letting you know. If you're rolling for surprise, they don't have their shield ready. Now, this is some shield variants you might want to think about. Shields can be splintered. Whenever you take damage, you can opt to have the damage absorbed by your shield. The shield is splintered, destroyed, but you don't take damage from blow. If a character is about to die, it's just best just to let the shield go, right? So a magic shield, you can do it with a magic shield, but the shield won't be destroyed. Instead, there's a 1 to 4 on a d6. The shield will lose its +1 of its enchantment. So you can, people have give them options. Why not? A magic shields versus spells. In addition, you could automatically sacrifice +1 for magic shield or to make a successful save versus any spell, breath weapon, gaze, or similar effect, which is super cool, right? Because let's say the dragon's breathing fire, and it's like a 66 fireball. You stand behind your shield, you lose your shield. It blows up, but you're safe, okay? So I think about the house rules. It's very simple yet effective method for making a great sword wielder, +1 damage, dual wielders, +2 to hit, or sword and boarders, +1 to AC with splintering, all mechanically diverse and rewarding options. So people just don't feel like they're just whatever. This gives them, and they can switch out partway through the game, decide I'm going to do a wheel now, and they switch, right? So this is some gameplay mechanics, some generic stuff, right? 1 turn's 10 minutes, equals 2 moves. So 1 move is your speed, whatever your character speed, times 10 feet. Okay, so they can move quite far, right? 1 turn is 2 moves, equals their speed times 20 feet. All right, and so 1 turn of flight, that means if you're running, you go pretty fast, right? If you're trying to escape, right? In 10 minutes, you probably could run easily, let's say 9 times 40, 360 feet, right? That's not an impossible thing, right? And if you're searching for a wall, that takes a turn. If you're really using wandering monsters, that's when this kind of takes the effect. And if you're doing some kind of listening thing. So for combat, 1 round of battle, it goes 1 move and 1 attack, or 2 moves if you do a dash. And everybody knows round of battle, we're saying is 1 minute, okay? It's a little different than, let's say, 6 seconds you've seen before, but it is supposed to be 1 minute in WhiteBox. Combat sequence is super simple. Roll for surprise if necessary. I don't always do that. I actually rarely do it, honestly. And then I make 2 die roll, right? I use a black one and a yellow one. And the black one's always the bad guys. Yellow one's the party. Whatever's higher, that guy goes first. If it's a tie, it always goes to the party. And the reason why is because the dungeon master has so many more tricks than the party will ever have. So, hey, you get an extra bonus because you guys both roll 3s. You get to go first. And it saves you for trying to alternate hits between things. It gets confusing. So I just say, no, it always goes party. All right. I have it in here twice. That's how important it is, right? You get to make a movement and an action in any order or hold. If you hold, you have to go at the end of the round. So let's say the playing party goes first, and then it's the monsters. You say you hold action. That means you're going to wait to after the monsters go. Then you make an attack. And if you're still going first, you're going to make 2 attacks in a row, essentially. It's kind of a way of doing it, right? Fighters can perform a parry for their action, which gives them a -4 to the attacker. And then the lower roll is going to be the next one to go, and it kind of just repeats over and over. Now, I'm not going to go into depth about these skills and general skills. It's in the other video I just posted today. And it's kind of interesting because the 3 character classes that we're using, cleric, fighter, and magic user, allows, I mean, you don't have to have the thief class. If someone wants to be a thief, they just put themselves with high dexterity and get leather armor. And you could do all your thief skills. If you really want to be good at it, be a halfling too. Be a halfling fighter, because he gets to add his level as far as D6s to the doing any one of the skills. So my advice is go back and check out that other video. It's going to show up at the end of this thing, and you can click it and you can see how that works. But once again, these are just ideas when playing WhiteBox. I love WhiteBox. It's simple, and here's the thing about it. People don't realize this is that I can grab any group of people, pull them in, and within 20 minutes be playing a game after they build their character. It's very simple, and basically White Star, WhiteBox, White Lies, Eldritch Tales, they're all use the same mechanics. So we can switch out games, and it's a great way to do one-shots. Okay. With that, I'm gonna let you guys go. I hope you have a good day, and like all things, game on.